Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Full Armor of God, and as you can see here, I'm looking at the text that I texted to myself back on Monday, March 17th, a little bit over a week ago. I'm recording this on Tuesday, March 25th, and there was a text immediately after this one where I did a video about the realization that there was a nuclear attack on the USA. But right after this text, it was a two-part text, Dream Vision. As you can see here, that same night, or actually it was at 2:38 in the morning, I heard the words Hillary Clinton at 2:38 a.m. So I did look up 238 in the Strong's Concordance, and here's what I found. 238 in the Strong's Greek Concordance is the word allegoreo. The definition is to speak allegorically, to interpret allegorically, meaning I speak allegorically. If you look under word origin, it says to speak in the assembly, meaning to speak something other than what the words themselves imply. Under usage, it says the term is used to describe the act of interpreting or explaining a narrative by seeking a deeper, often symbolic or spiritual meaning beyond the literal sense. In biblical context, it involves understanding a passage in a way that reveals a hidden or parallel truth, often relating to spiritual realities or moral lessons. So I really haven't heard the word allegory spoken that much in modern day language, so I decided to ask Google what it meant, and I found something very interesting. Tell me, Google, what is the definition for the word allegory?
Here's the definition of allegory: a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one.
So what I find telling here with this definition for allegory, a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one, in reference to Hillary Clinton that I heard on March 17th at 2:38 a.m., the recent breaking news about the communication on a chat commercial app about a war plan of a strike of the Houthi rebels on Yemen, and how that was disclosed by Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief from the Atlantic news outlet, that there was a text on a commercial messaging app, an unsecured commercial messaging app, where the Secretary of Defense, PeteHegseth, was laying out step-by-step war plans with timing and war maneuvers and positioning of military equipment and strategy on a messaging app that is not an app that would be a securely held app under government agency control, that is using a commercial app for classified defense war maneuvers. So I was watching Morning Joe this morning, and they were talking about this, and I found it rather ironic that this actually took place when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, where she used an unsecured email server. And, well, let me just show you what they were saying. And I believe that I was given a heads up about what was about to take place by hearing Hillary Clinton on March 17th at 2:38 a.m. and that this was about to occur again, and that we didn't learn from our mistake in the past of using an unsecured email server, that now the people that are in charge of securing our nation are using a commercial app and nothing that has a firewall around it to protect our wartime plans, especially during a time when we are so close to one incident sparking off a nuclear event.
Our interview earlier this morning with the Atlantic's editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, including why no one in that group text chat raised any red flags about discussing sensitive material on a commercial app.
The administration confirmed the authenticity of this exchange. The National Security Council did it as well. So that's, we put that to the side. That puts to rest what Secretary Hegseth tried to claim there. Were you surprised that no one else in that chat, I don't know, Marco Rubio, who chaired the Senate Intelligence Committee, Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff, didn't say, whoa, 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 guys, not here with this stuff? Yes, it's surprising. I think that you can become inured to believing, this is true for all of us, to believing that the chats you're in on the apps that you use are somehow more secure than they are. Obviously, Signal is pretty secure from an encryption standpoint. You lose your government secrecy if you mistakenly invite the editor of the Atlantic into the chat. Obviously, but you know, Signal, we all use Signal for good reason. But nevertheless, it is not supposed to be used by government officials to talk about national security. It is technically considered an unclassified platform, in part because it's on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, two things here. First of all, for Pete Hegseth or other members of this administration that think they can just brush this away and point to the press and think that MAGA supporters are not deeply concerned about this, they should probably talk actually to people who voted for Donald Trump several times, as I have over the past 12 hours, who are deeply concerned about this, deeply concerned about the recklessness, who actually believe that if they screw up this badly, that yes, the lives of our men and women in uniform are put in danger. So, and for those that while Jeffrey was talking, didn't see the Brit Hume tweet, he said, for God's sake, after Pete Hegseth, again, when Pete Hegseth went out, and he might as well have just been holding a sign up saying, I think people who voted for Donald Trump are stupid, because he insulted them by denying this. Brit Hume, Fox News emeritus political analyst, said, oh, for God's sake, the administration has already confirmed the authenticity of the message. So he takes a terrible situation and embarrasses himself even more. And I'm not exactly sure why he thought he could get away with doing that when the administration already confirmed it. But Mika, I want to talk about the people really quickly, and we do need to sort through this. There are people on that group that, again, I'll just say, if they were Fox News hosts or hosts of any TV show, perhaps they weren't read in on how important this was. I will say, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had to know, because he ran the down as a lowly member of the Armed Services Committee in the House of Representatives. When you were getting information like this, you were going upstairs, you were going into a skiff, you were in the most private of circumstances. You didn't text this stuff around on a commercial. You just, it's been commented before, if lower level people had done this, chances are good that they could possibly face charges. And of course, against the backdrop of all of this are so many of these people who spent a year and a half attacking Hillary Clinton, saying she should be in jail because she used a private email server.
Yeah. A couple of things. The cavalier nature of the texting, along with the incredibly in-depth information about what was about to happen, is staggering and raises the question, how many of these chats are out there on different national security issues? And if anybody in charge cared about our national security, they'd be launching an investigation into this right now instead of attacking the press. Like, this is an incredible breach of our own national, a self-induced breach. And also, I'm seeing the term leaked chat. This is not a leaked chat. This is a group chat that included our guest, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, who, and if it wasn't so damn serious, it would be laughable. But this group chat that included the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, that was the mistake. Somebody, by mistake, included Jeffrey on a group chat. It was not leaked to the press. The press was included.
And Mika, the press was included, but and I know the question has been asked here, Mika, but also everybody that was on that text chain. I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but I don't go into large group chains without looking at every one of the numbers and saying, okay, who am I talking to here? And that's for cable TV. These people are blindly going onto a group chat on Signal talking about where our troops are going, and I find it shocking that not one person said, okay, who's this guy with the Atlantic icon? I don't know what Jeffrey's. I don't know what Jeffrey's thing is.
It just said JG.
Okay, very good. So the question is, why wouldn't somebody, Mika, in that group ask, who is JG?
Yeah, and then that's the second question. The first question is, what are they all doing on Signal with all this information? Many of the high-level Trump administration officials who were in the group chat had previously condemned the mishandling of classified information and demanded accountability, especially when it comes to former President Joe Biden and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. As if there's an equivalence here. Take a listen.
And it goes to the issue of both competence and credibility. It is irresponsible for an elected official in her capacity to be discussing highly sensitive things on a format that she had to have known was not fully secured.
That the sitting national security advisor, right now Jake Sullivan, was sending and laundering classified documents into an unclassified server. People look at that and say, whoa, wait a minute. There was prosecutorial discretion there. They didn't prosecute. They didn't go after these folks. In all of these other instances,
mishandling classified information is still a violation of the Espionage Act. It started with Hillary Clinton. It has continued without accountability. People haven't paid a price for that, and that's
any security professional, military, government, or otherwise, would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. The fact that she wouldn't be held accountable for this, I think, blows the mind of anyone who's held our nation's secrets dear, who's had a top secret clearance like I have and others, who
intelligence community, writing, any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of law and will be treated as such. And last week, Vice President J.D. Vance told NBC News that he keeps his phone in a secure box when he's in his office because of the classified information flowing everywhere.
Please get to know your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ right away. I believe we are so close to some type of an event that could start or instigate or the catalyst for a chain reaction that would bring all nations into WW3. Get to know your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ right away and believe that his blood sacrifice will save you from the destruction to come. And may God bless you.